While Phoenix City leaders continue debating the 126-page DOJ report alleging multiple civil rights violations, some say it's time to accept the findings.
This is a long, drawn-out process.
Pat Davis is a former Albuquerque City Council president. His city received a similar report from the feds in 2014, and it took them nearly 10 years to meet all the requirements.
This was an incredibly expensive lesson for the city of Albuquerque to learn, and it took us a long time to learn that it was better to go along and get this right, because the Department of Justice is not going away. It gets harder the longer this takes.
Bob Scales disagrees. He runs a consulting firm for police departments under investigation. He was an attorney with the city of Seattle when they signed a consent decree in 2012. He met with the Phoenix Police Union and city leaders last year.
And basically I say, look, I've been through this process before in Seattle. I'm happy to tell you what I know, give you any advice, because I know what you're in for.
Recently, Scales sent Phoenix council members this letter urging them to bring in their own experts to look at each case.
If your experts come up with the same conclusions that DOJ did, then absolutely, a consent decree might be the only way that you can fix it.
But he says if the findings don't match up, they should push back.
And if that's the case, you should not sign a consent decree, and you should force the DOJ to prove their case in court.
Phoenix police did release their own findings in January in their Road to Reform, but the DOJ says that's not good enough.
While the city has undertaken some preliminary steps, our findings today reveal very significant and severe violations of federal law and the Constitution.
Davis and Scales agree consent decrees can be long and cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. They can also impact recruiting for the departments, but Davis tells me Albuquerque is now back on track.
We have better community policing programs. Our recruiting is now meeting and exceeding our goal for the first time.
While Scales says problems persist in Seattle.
It's a disaster. And every single city that has come under a consent decree has had the same problem.
In Phoenix, Patrick Hayes, ABC 15, Arizona.